It is time for Nehawu, SACP, COSATU, NUMSA, and many other communist-driven entities within this country to be exposed for the rot they have placed on our country. I want it. I crave it. They need to go. They are not patriotic, but instead seek the destruction of the very entities that bring wealth into this country. They are very much anti the employer. Welcome to Citizen Concerned, where we remind you to beware of the comrades. I'm Katlego and would appreciate it if you subscribed to our YouTube channel, liked and shared this video with other citizens. These are organizations that seek to squeeze the employer, and to them it does not matter whether the employer is black or white. They don't care whether the employer is the private sector or the government. They don't care whether squeezing the employer will result in an increase in unemployment. They simply don't care. All they care about is receiving more money from their members. And if that will cause businesses, municipalities, post offices, or hospitals to collapse, they don't care. In fact, they simply turn around and blame the private sector for the negative results of their actions. We need that SACP, Nehawu, NUMSA bunch to be immediately and decisively expelled from our political spaces. They need to be held accountable for the nonsense that they have created in this country. A bunch of government employees have been causing havoc in this country simply because their unions have been bullying management and forcing them to do what they want. These unions have been bullying the people that create jobs. They've been creating hostility in the workplaces and telling the workers that they have rights. And oh, everyone likes to say it, don't they? I know my rights. I know my rights. Meanwhile, many of the same union members are becoming lazy. Why? Because the unions are protecting them. They become so entitled, and when you look at it, they don't deserve most of the things that they claim to be entitled to. I was happy when I saw this man called Mtolo from the ANC talking about Nehawu's involvement in poor service delivery to South Africans. I was happy because it means people are starting to see the facts as they are, and the more that this keeps on happening, the weaker these dangerous unions become. Through these honest talks, unions that worked with the ANC's blessings may be in their last days. This was triggered by the fact that these communist entities like the SACP, Nehawu, COSATU and others have been against the GNU.
From where I stand, we are under a government of an elite pact, which they choose to call it a government of national unity. From where I stand, that thing it's a pact of elite, business elite, political elite, maybe even religious elite, and so on and so on.
They attacked the ANC leadership for the fact that the ANC chose to have a GNU with parties that the communists don't like instead of a coalition with parties like the EFF and MK Party. Here is the member of the ANC telling the audience the deeds of Nehawu. The real truth that many South Africans have always known about, but many too scared to speak about in public. Take a listen.
Bekhuluma ukuthi asifuni GNU ababhilonga kwenye union. Yazi union ethu inehawu. Nyamaza unehawu. Unehawu nyamaza ukuthi organize apha. Unehawu abantu bakanehawu baka home affairs. Imajority moya ka home affairs. Abona mawufika home affairs uyofuna i-death certificate unganakwa unehawu lo. Umoya ka home affairs uyofuna ibirth unganakwa unehawu lo. Umoya kwaSASSA unyevulelo unehawu lo unyevulelayo. Uma ngabe usebenza eplazini umlungu engakubhadala minimum wage, umuntu owulabor inspector ofika ngayi kuwena ahlangane nomlungu adligusha lomlungu aphuma ahambe amesathi umlungu babhadala kahle abasebenza emaplazini, leyo inspector ekanehawu. Now while bethi bayabazonda belungu, kodwa yonke into abayenzayo isurvivor belungu. Then umoya kwaSASSA ibona, kwa affairs ibona, esibhedlela ibona. Uma ngabantu ukuthi isibhedlela ambulance ayifiki umuntu osuke delay nokudrive let ambulance kunina unehawu lo. That's Nehawu.
He's right. I mean, just think about a time when you went to a government department for services. Although we sometimes come across respectful, knowledgeable, and hardworking public servants at government offices, unfortunately, most of the time the service stinks. The service stings because of the entities like Nehawu. It stings due to the entitlement that the unions have put in the hands of the public servants. With the free reign and loads of power these unions have been allowed to exercise, a lot of these unions have even affected the productivity within the private sector as well. If there is anything that unions work hard on, it is the doing for increase of wages. Those are probably the only days they work throughout the year. They go from street to street, intimidating other workers, trashing cities, singing and dancing. For what? Because it is time to get a raise, because we want you to meet our demands.
You would know that not every employee is part of the strike. Some of them are diligent people that want to be in the wards taking care of their patients, but they've been intimidated. Some of them have been dragged out of the wards whilst treating patients, assisting doctors, because since Monday, doctors have been the ones at the forefront who've been doing all the work.
Workers affiliated to Nehawu continue with their protest. At Pilonomi Hospital, patients were returned home while staff members who work in ICU were intimidated and stopped working. Computers at the admin were also damaged.
You know, there were sporadic reports about people being beaten up, and then we had to file a case against intimidation, because as much as there's a right of striking, there's a right of people also to life. There's also a right to people to work if they want to work.
Workers also demonstrated their protest at the National and Universitas hospitals. They demand a 10% wage increase, house allowance and bursaries for their children.
These entities are the ones that have caused it to become hard to discipline your employees or even fire people who are lazy, stubborn, disrespectful, corrupt, and so forth. You have to go for these long disciplinary hearings and give warning after warning for people that have no respect for the company you have started as an employer. Employers are some of the most important people we have in this country, but they are treated like useless trash because of the attitudes that unions like these have created within South African workers. Generally speaking, most South Africans are born good and decent, harboring no ill intent. They go to school and get poor education from some of these lazy union workers. They get to university where they find radicals like the EFF waiting to indoctrinate them, ready to give them a t-shirt and a slogan. They doy until eventually they leave colleges and universities. Some leave to become members of these radical parties fighting to protect the radical ideas. If they are radical enough, they become members of parliament. Some of them become workers within your business where they will terrorize you for any little thing that they don't like. Imagine that.
The protesting students continue. Nehawu, we understand, has also joined the protest action. Let's take a listen to what is being said at the moment.
We have achieved our goal of shutting down the campus. On Monday, we called for a shutdown for Wednesday, comrades. It took us 2 days of protest to achieve the state that we are in right now. And now, comrades, we are here joined with the workers to say that the issues of workers are the issues of students. If we decide to protest right now, it contravenes their job. If they decide to protest, we won't have food at DH. Our buses won't move. So rather we are united and we have one way forward with the workers, comrades. After the president, we will then give it to political formations who will give a message of support in line with the SRC's mandate. And then afterwards, comrades, we are going to have Nehawu to come then and issue out their issues that they have been facing, comrades. Mandla! Mtolo! President.
Mandla awethu qina mfundi qina qina msebenzi qina qina mfundi qina long live the spirit of defiance, long live the spirit of defiance, long live qina sasko qina YCA qina NCT qina Queen ISF Children Command Queen Numsa Queen long live Nehawu, long live Asau, long live. Comrades, what you are saying as students is that nothing will proceed as normal because the situation in this campus is not normal. There are two things which you are saying now. Up until workers' demands are met, up until student demands are met, the university will not proceed with its normal operations.
Although I am happy that Bheki Mtolo said what he said, I'm also disappointed that he is only talking about the evils of Nehawu because Nehawu has criticized the ANC and the GNU. How long would he have been quiet about this if the unions did not speak ill of the ANC and the GNU? Why has he not been speaking up against these parasites all along? Why was he quiet all along? Because the relationship was working in his favor. We need to be citizens that fight against evil wherever it is, even if it is in the people in our circles. I mean, if Nehawu had said nothing, Bheki Mtolo would have never said anything about their very real negative influence and impact on South Africans. Do you see the dishonest habits of these politicians? They speak against something simply because they finally disagree on something. The fact that he's saying this means that it is and has been a known issue within the ANC. It is a known fact within their party that Nehawu and those like it are a burden on our country. Why not come out and push against it? I leave it to you, the citizens of this country who want real change. We see things and people that are pulling our country down. Let's fight against these unions and everyone like them whose behavior destroys South Africa and the lives of South Africans, all while posing as people and organizations who exist for the well-being of South Africans. What do you think of all of this? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. That's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if our content is to your liking. Please like and share it with others. I'm Katlego. This is Citizen Concerned. And until next time, beware of the comrades.